Hi. So it's been a couple of weeks since I made a video. I've been busy moving into a new place, and it's a little bit ironic because I got all of this nice furniture to make these shots that I wanted and imagined in my head, but now I'm just sitting on the floor just so I can get some sunlight from the window because it's too bright when I wanted to shoot in a different way. So I wanted to kind of come back to these, and I'm going to make it into more of a traditional vlog. I think over the past couple of weeks and stuff, I built it up in my head where I wanted to make this big change and start doing these fancy edited, produced videos. But I don't think I'm quite there yet. I think I just have to get the consistency going again. And so I'm going to do it more like a captain's log. I just watched Project Hail Mary. Great movie, by the way. You should all go watch it. Yay, Rocky. Yeah, thumbs down. And yeah, it reminded me of when Ryan Gosling's character Grace, he was doing these logs. It's meant to capture, I don't know, I guess thoughts in a given time and also a sense of progress, just to like have them. And for the past little while, I've been thinking for this year, I wanted to make a goal to completely transform my life within a single year. And I planned on breaking it down and making all of these series, but I'm just gonna do them as like a simple vlog because the transformation part for myself is much more interesting than actually, I don't know, the fancy producing and the editing bits. I'll just focus on trying to get a decent shot, but mostly what I say and how often I say it is much more important. I do believe that anybody can transform themselves, and that's sort of the basic premise of this idea. And the brain is like very adaptable. A lot of people don't quite believe this. There's like the whole fixed versus growth mindset thing, but it's true. Like if you are thrown into a foreign country, like let's say, it's weird because I'm Chinese, but my Chinese is horrible. But if I was thrown into China for a year and I just like had to survive, I would pick up the language pretty quickly. I would pick up the culture pretty quickly, and because it's like out of necessity. But when we're in our like current everyday lives, we kind of settle into like a groove, and then we don't want to move out of that, or it takes too much momentum to. But I've been digging around a lot in my past, and I've come to realize that a lot of who we are, or like this self-image that we believe that we are, this ego or whatever you want to call it, this sense of self, is just something you stumbled into for most of us. You grow up in a certain way with certain family, certain values, certain culture, certain geography, whatever, language. And those things all shape who you are, and all of those expectations and how you do in school or don't do in school, or if you're athletic or if you're creative or whatever. It kind of like pushes you into this box and this thin branch of all the things that you could have become. And I started to realize that I don't really know how much of that person I actually chose to be. So when I truly break it down, I think a lot of my behaviors and habits and how I approach people and relationships and work and just about everything in my own body and my exercise and things like that is all kind of governed from all the micro habits that kind of led up along through my life. So I wanted to intentionally transform those things. And it comes down to like really 4 things in my mind. It's like my body, and my mind, I broke it down into my thoughts and my feelings, and then like my sort of social world and relationships. And the body part is easy because, well, it's easy to understand because we all have bodies and they don't move, or my posture is not great. That's one thing I'm trying to fix. And we know that it affects us in a certain way. We look a certain way and we move a certain way. And So that's kind of the first step. I want to correct those things. I need more energy. I've always been kind of like a low energy person, and I don't like that. So I want to challenge myself and see like how much of that I can really push. I used to think it's like because my family genes or whatever are low energy, but it's honestly, I don't exercise. I don't like do anything other than walk around and take pictures sometimes, but that's it. So I'm going to, stop with the screen so much and fix my posture and start walking further and running and finding a place to exercise. For the thinking part, that's sort of like my default mode. I'm very much like a thinking person. I read books, I'm on computers, I research, all that kind of jazz. So that's like my default mode, and I don't want to rely on it so much because it's out of balance. I think I tend to overthink and overanalyze a lot of things rather than like sort of going out and doing them. And so I find reasons and researching tools or cameras or whatever instead of actually just going out and doing things and practicing them. So in terms of my thinking patterns, I want to like break out of that. I think it came from like a traumatic upbringing where I'm just constantly like need more information before I decide things because it feels too risky. So I wanted to do that. So that leads kind of into the feeling part. And for the feelings, it's harder. I think those are like much more deeply rooted, and we tend to like, especially for thinkers like me, we tend to sort of ignore the emotions and sort of reason them away or find some reason for them. But I wanted to like reconnect with my feelings and actually feel them and listen to them and allow this. There's this kind of like inner pain and loneliness and isolation and this feeling that I don't fit anywhere, that I don't want to dictate the like second half of my life. So I need to, maybe do more therapy, more meditation to like clear my mind, to calm my feelings, and like allow them to be part of the conversation more. So it's like a balance between the thought and the feelings along with the body. And then that's all like the internal parts. But the external part is the social world and everything else that's going on in the world. And if anyone's like me and thinks 2026 is going to be like a hell of a dumpster fire, it's tough when there's all this stuff going on in the world that you can't control. So all the internal things of the first three parts, you can control no matter how difficult they are. You can work on yourself, by yourself, without a lot of effort. I guess you could be motivated by other people. But when it comes to like the world and the job market and the housing market and inflation, you can't quite control any of that. But you can control the kinds of relationships you make and how you, I guess, approach them or how you see them and how you engage with them. I do want to be more part of a community. I'm a little bit too isolated. Other than being with my girlfriend, she's great, but I don't have anybody else to rely on most of the time. So I need to build that out more and value that and cultivate that a little bit more. So that's sort of the challenge for me, and I'm going to try making more vlogs and not overthink things and keep things relatively short because I tend to ramble. So I'll try to keep them under this 10-minute mark here. But I want to more for videos focus not so much on cinematography and production and editing and writing, but more on just doing it and being consistent for now, because I think that's the most important sort of first step. Once that gets easier, I do want to improve like how I communicate ideas and how I structure them. But I don't, for some reason, like the way of over editing and producing things. It's starting to feel unreal and a little bit like excessive. But yeah, so that's it for now. Tentatively, I'm going to call these JLOGs for Jackie Logs. That's me. And if you're interested in following along on my journey of transformation in the year, you can subscribe and follow along if you want. But for the most part, I'm hopefully just making these videos for me and as a way to push myself towards becoming the person I actually want to be. So until next time, I will see you later.